Hello and welcome to Hooting Mandrills. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Sam, and TMNT is here. It is turtle time, folks. And even if you play more of the Arena Eternal formats, there's a bonus sheet with some new to Arena cards and a bunch of Commander stuff. As a side note, it was pretty hard to tell what was actually coming to Arena from the Commander set, so thanks to Scryfall for helping me out with that one.
Scryfall always knows.
Start off with, it's your boy, Jeremy. They're trying to get you back into Historic. Arcbound Ravager.
God, I mean, this card is so sick. 2-cost artifact, creature, beast. Sacrifice an artifact, put a 1/1 counter on this creature, modular 1. So it comes into play with a 1/1 counter instead of being a 0/0. And if it dies, you can move its counters to other artifact creatures. This creature is so sick. I've been asking for it for a while. They want me to try Historic again. I've been very anti-Historic even with the new things, but this card is very appealing. It used to be really sick in the Modern Affinity deck back in the day, back in the good old days of 2013 Modern, but before that. But
Scales is probably somewhat playable in Modern. It might be more playable in Historic because there's Hardened Bonds, which is a pretty good Scales-esque card that you could also play and would be good. It's pretty good with Ravager because Ravager is a good way to have a 1/1 counter happen on an opposing turn, so you draw more cards with Hardened Bonds.
It's pretty good with this card, Biotech Specialist, where you just hit them for 2 for every artifact.
I forgot Specialist when I was making the slide, though. I can rectify that between now and when this goes to print. Weapons manufacturing, though.
I love weapons manufacturing.
It's a good way to sack munitions.
Yeah, your munitions are easily sacrificable with, artifact cards. So that's a huge advantage where you have to play in standard, like the cleric, to sacrifice stuff. But, if you have an artifact that, that makes your weapons manufacturing deck a lot better. So, yeah, I really like this card. This is maybe the only thing that could convince me to look into Historic. We'll see if it's a mythic or a rare on Arena, because that's a big difference if I'm willing to try. Okay, Commander card. Food Chain, 2 and a green, enchantment. Exile a creature you control. Add X mana of 1 color, where X is 1+ the exiled creature's mana value. Spend this mana only to cast creature spells.
And so Food Chain in Legacy has been a combo deck here and there throughout the years. Food Chain goes infinite with creatures that can cast themselves from exile. The ones that are on Arena are Eternal Scourge or Squee the Immortal. Squee is the better one because Goblin is a relevant type. You can find Squee or find a payoff off of Matron, and it doesn't really even screw up the combo because, you have Food Chain in play, you play Matron, you find Squee, you exile Matron to the Food Chain, you have enough mana to cast the Squee and start squeeing. Or if you have the Squee thing going, you have a Matron, you just make enough mana, cast Matron, go find Muxus or whatever your win con is. Yeah, some Food Chain builds in Legacy have also taken to using Unstable Amulet as a win con because it digs you for the combo and then just kills them off of casting a bunch of spells from exile, which is what this combo does.
Yeah, no Walkie Bee in Historic or Timeless, so you can't Walking Ballista for the win, but yeah, Muxus should probably... That's more cards that you need in your deck that are goblins, but it's probably about the same. Is that what they do in Legacy? Do they do the...
The last time I saw Food Chain goblins was actually relatively recently because Hexing Squelcher is a goblin that's good in Legacy. The win condition was basically just to Muxus. And,
okay. Because it has been Walking Ballista. Maybe that's more of a Commander thing where they do the Walking Ballista.
Yeah,
thing.
There are a lot of things
you have to do multiple ways in Commander because you only have one of each. But
there are a lot of things with Food Chain that are weird and commandery because it doesn't quite pay the command tax on its own, but it's pretty close. So there are a lot of commanders that just produce mana somehow, and they go infinite with Food Chain. I think Prosh is one of them, but yeah, not
super relevant for 1v1.
Yeah, or non-brawl formats on Arena. Here's kind of a weird one. April O'Neil, Human Element. 3 and a blue for a 2/5, Human Detective. Whenever a player casts an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, you create a mutagen token. So mutagen tokens are a TMNT set mechanic thing. They're little trinkety artifacts. You can pay 1 and sack them to put a 1/1 counter on target creature. So it's explore, but it never finds lands, and you don't look at the top card of your library. as a sorcery, obviously. So this thing is sort of like a Pinnacle Emissary type of card. It's worse because it's more expensive and not an artifact, but it does say a player. So your opponent doing things also
gets the fodder.
Yeah, also creates these artifacts. So, you know, it's not impossible that this would be a thing you would be interested in to help power out Kappa Cannoneer or charge up Archway of Innovation or, you know, whatever the fuck.
I wouldn't, probably. 4 mana seems just like, I get that you're making a lot of mutagens off of their spells as well, but if Kappa Cannoneer isn't coming out on turn 1 or 2, you've lost the game. So that's not exactly true. That's a little bit of a hyperbole, but this could come out on turn 3 with Mox Opal, but that still feels so bad to me, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little slow. It's probably worse than other options, but it
does the thing. Yeah, it makes the fodder.
It's unique enough, and it does do a relevant thing, so worth talking about. Here's another weird one. Irma, part-time mutant. 2 and a blue for a 1/1 human mutant shapeshifter. At the beginning of combat on your turn, Irma becomes a copy of up to 1 other target creature you control, except her name is Irma, part-time mutant, and she has this ability. Then put a 1/1 counter on her. So this is a weird clone that you are using when you're trying to, for whatever reason, dodge the ETB of the creature that you're cloning. It is cute with cards like Moonshadow. We don't have Phyrexian Dreadnought on Arena, but, you know, you play this, it turns into a Moonshadow, it gets a +1/+1 counter. It is a 3 mana 8/8 menace. Is that good? Kinda cute with other sort of -1/-1 creatures. Lockmare was the one that I came up with. You can use +1/+1 counters for the Lockmare abilities if you want. But yeah, pretty fringe, but it's a sort of unique effect as these sorts of clones go.
It's a clone, so keeps its name too if you're doing legend stuff, I guess. All right, up next we have Leonardo, Worldly Warrior for 7 and a white, 5/5 legendary mutant ninja turtle. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature you control, a double strike. So yeah, we've got our Salt Road Pack Beast, but like actually it doesn't draw a card, which is pretty bad, I guess, but a 5/5 double strike is pretty good.
As, you know, Beans creatures go, this one's pretty big and pretty mean. Like, not much more to say about it. There are some other white go wide cards that work with Beanstalk. The Two-Brid one, I think, is not on Arena when I look, but Triplicate Spirits. Remember Triplicate Spirits, folks? You're a Magic boomer. You probably do. Knight Errant Teveos, this Salt Road Pack Beasts.
Is there a good way in Historic to dump creatures onto the field that would make this thing cost cheap? Or
like Ornithopter, Burning Tree Emissary.
Oh, Rally the Hornberg. Yeah,
like,
okay. Burning Tree and Rally is pretty fun.
Like, if you're trying to be more white, you can play actual Raise the Alarm or variants. Ajani is gone, good riddance, but Guide Pride. There are a lot of ways to put a lot of small white creatures into play, and there are other ones besides this that work with Beanstalk, which is still legal in Historic, and probably could do something in the format eventually.
Maybe one day. All right, Dimension X Pizzasaur, 3 and a black for a food alien mutant 2/1. When this creature enters, put 2 1/1 counters on target creature. When you do, destroy up to 1 target creature with mana value less than or equal to the number of counters among permanents you control. 2, tap, sacrifice this creature, you gain 3 life, and each opponent loses 3 life. Okay,
This is the sort of card I like to see coming out of dumb Commander product. It's like kind of a cool Historic card. It's not super good, but it's maybe good enough at its baseline. It's kind of an FTK. It probably kills something when it comes down. It's 4/3 worth of stats that probably kills something. And it has, weird, maybe relevant typing and weird, maybe relevant synergies. For a stupid pizza mutant card from a TMNT set, this is the sort of thing that I like to see coming into Eternal formats.
It does feel fairly unplayable at 4 mana, but it does kill something and put, like you said, 4/3 on the battlefield worth of power. So that's not nothing. So you get to remove and start to make your board stay. And later in the game, if you want to sacrifice it, if it's going to get targeted by a removal spell, at least you get to drain 3. So
I think this card's okay. I don't think you're playing 4 of it in anything, but I think if you're some sort of creature toolbox strategy that's in black, you might play it. You know, I put Blighted Nightmare on here because this kind of cares about counters, kind of cute in that sort of shell, although obviously insert any other one. Chthonian Nightmare, Birthing Ritual. Maybe if you're some sort of Black Court of Calling deck, although the Black Court of Calling deck that you would probably be is like Yawgmoth, and Yawgmoth is already removal. This isn't the worst to have as a one-of to Neoform into.
It's a removal spell, yeah.
Comes in with an additional counter. Food stuff could be relevant at some point.
They always try and add something with foods.
Yeah, Trail of Crumbs is not really good enough in, you know, it is not standard from 5 years ago in Historic, so Trail of Crumbs is probably not good enough. That was the best food payoff that I could find that kind of worked with this.
No cat oven. Too expensive. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if there's anything with this, that's more food related. I'm not sure. They still don't have Academy Manufacturer or anything.
No, yes, they Academy Manufacturer was actually added to Arena through some secret lair thing that came to the client for reasons that I don't fully understand.
You blink and you miss everything.
Yeah.
I don't think that this is a great Academy card, but, you know, getting more material is always good.
Also cares about making food tokens. So
does it have to be a token? All right.
Base power and toughness are 2/1, so you can find it off Recruiter of the Guard, which it's probably better than Giant Killer unless you care about humans or don't have black mana on your deck.
All right, up next we have Endless Foot Assault for 2 and a white enchantment with Squad 1 and a white. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may pay 1 and a white any number of times. When this enchantment enters, create that many tokens that are copies of it. Whenever you attack, for each opponent, create a 1/1 black ninja creature token that's tapped and attacking that player.
Yeah, this is pretty below rate. You only have one opponent in 1v1 formats, non-commander formats, so each of these that you make makes 1/1 ninja attacking your opponent. That's not great. You know, maybe if you're in some sort of really weird, like, White Devotion Caretaker's Talent type of
United
pile.
Battlefront.
This is United Battlefront. This is a reasonable mana sink that also doesn't fuck up Battlefront for you.
I guess you can hit Wedding Announcement too. So, I mean, there's a lot, like, in the United Battlefront deck. You could have quite a few good 3s, but do those cards win you the game in Historic? No. So, yeah, pretty
White
dead.
Nykthos Battlefront does sound like a fun Historic brew if you
don't care about winning ever, yeah. For sure. I think it's cool, but the mana sink is kind of nice too in a deck like that where you're just like trying to play 3-drops and 3-drops and 3-drops, and then eventually you Nykthos off and cast this for 1 million and you can attack your opponent and get 1 million ninjas.
Making tokens of itself is kind of cute with Caretaker's Talent too. Like,
yeah,
you can make more Endless Foot Assaults with your Caretaker's Talents.
And then pump up those ninjas at some point with your infinite Nykthos mana. That's kind of cute. I don't know. It's not a deck. It's not real, but it's fun to think about. All right. Up next, we have Foot Chopper. It's a 1 and a black equipment. When this equipment enters, create a 1/1 black ninja creature token, then attach this equipment to it. Equipped creature has flying. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. If you do, draw cards equal to its power, and the equip is 2. So, yeah, it gives you a little bit of evasion. It's an artifact. It at least makes a body if you're trying to, like, bounce it and play it again or whatever.
This is another one where it's kind of below rate, but Ninjas is kind of an artifact deck, and you might angle more into, like, big affinity doofers like Mirror Enforcer to try and get bigger hits off Yuriko, or the 4/4s that Retrofitter Foundry makes are also just dumb idiots on the ground that you might care about putting into the air and might decide are worth less in play than 4 cards in your hand at some point. I don't think this card is very good, but it might be good enough to play 1 or 2 if you're trying to do ninjas.
Yeah, I mean, if you're willing to be Grixis, Cranial Ram makes a big thing and draws a lot of cards off this. That's a little expensive, but Cranial Ram's a good card, so I don't think you're embarrassed to put that in an artifact deck. But yeah, I don't know. Equipments. There's better equipment decks in Historic. All right. Up next, we have a couple.
Yeah, they're both sort of just weird wraths that aren't great, but they're weird enough to maybe be worth talking about. The first one is Electric Seaweed. It's 2 and 2 red for a 0/4 plant wall, has Defender and Haste. When this creature enters, until end of turn, whenever another creature dies, this creature deals 1 damage to each non-wall creature, and then it taps, which it can do immediately because it has Haste, to deal 1 damage to any target. So the joke here is that it's sort of a weird massacre girl for walls, where if there's a 1 toughness creature, you play this, you ping that down, that deals 1 damage to each non-wall creature. If that in turn kills anything else, it would have to be another 1 toughness creature, then it goes again and again until it runs out of stuff. I think that, one, if you're looking for a red wrath in a walls deck, you would just play Pyroclasm or Brotherhood's End or something. Your walls are already good at surviving red
Dragon
wraths.
Back Assault, maybe.
You don't need to work that hard to have your walls survive red wraths. Like, even if you are playing, Gruul walls or something, or Teamer or Naya walls or whatever. So,
and you have to reset it if you want to do it other turns, because it's only if it enters. So, if it doesn't do it on if you don't get it on the first turn, then it does nothing, and it's really expensive. So yeah, not very good. Game Over is a 3 and 2 black sorcery. This spell costs 2 less to cast if a player's life total is less than or equal to half their starting life total. Destroy all creatures. So it's a wrath for 3 if you're already dealing damage, so maybe like a black direct damage deck or something, or if you've been dealt damage, yeah. So if you're getting raced, yeah, maybe this is something.
I think even if you're looking for like a black wrath that beans, I think this is just worse than Infestation. Now that Ajani's banned, I do think Infestation is a very good black wrath.
Yeah, that one seems good. It's an option.
Yeah, the rate is there that it is an option you would maybe think about. I've played 5-mana black wraths in Historic before because they're easy to find with Crucius. I put Singleton Gix's command in Historic sideboards for Crucius to find when I need that sort of thing. This might be a card that you would consider in decks like that. Rakdos Necrodominance is a deck that I kind of want to try with this new set for other reasons that we'll talk about in the main set. This might be a one-of in the sideboard of that.
This isn't the board wipe that you want. I mean, you want to be playing like Languish or something, I imagine. I mean, if you really need the beans value, then this might be better. But
I think the being technically mana value 5 has to matter to you for some reason, or you have to expect that you're paying 3 for this for it to be a card that you would ever consider over, Damnation, Infestation, Languish, Toxic Deluge,
Meathook Massacre.
Meathook Massacre, and so on.
That's unnerved, right?
Yep, relatively recently.
Yeah, I think I remember us talking about it. Yeah.
Embarrassingly recently, yeah, we did. Not a huge world-shattering bonus sheet as these things go. I guess Arcbound Ravager is a big deal.
Yes, it is.
The commander cards are mostly fringe at best, as they usually are, but Arcbound Ravager, baby.
Just in time to get Endurance, or Force of Vigor, I mean.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's our bonus sheet. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for the set proper.